But yeah, thank you for joining the lockdown
Yay!
series.
I like that everyone's trying to think of little projects to do. I like that. Trying to keep ourselves occupied.
Totally. Today we have Teresa or
Yeah.
Chattypixie. For you, how are you getting on with the whole
Ah,
lockdown?
it's a bit weird, kind of all up and down, I think. Because like some days I'm like I'm fine, and then other days I'm like, oh my God, I just want to go back to work. Because like I feel useless. Like I feel like I'm should be sick. If you get what I mean, if I'm stuck in the house, but we're all fine, and but we can't go outside. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like like an eternal bank
Yeah,
holiday, and usually I hate bank holidays because nothing's
yeah,
open and our banks don't work. And but for me, I've just trying to do blog structures and wee projects to keep
yeah.
myself sane. Otherwise, I'll just be like, oh, bored.
Well, me and my husband were well, we picked the worst time to move because we moved house on the day the lockdown happened. So we were like in the midst of moving house, so we still have our flat and we can't give the keys back, and then we can't go back there all the time to get the remainder of the stuff. So that then creates more complications. And then I got the phone call the next day from my doctor saying I shouldn't be at work. And I'm like, oh my God. So it was a bit of a roller coaster the first week, but trying to keep myself occupied, that's my main thing. So yeah.
Oh, that absolutely sucks.
We just picked the worst time, I
uh,
think.
I've seen the contrast before the lockdown and Asda, and
Mm.
the contrast after that, and I'm just like, oh, it's like we went to McDonald's the day before
Oh
it
yeah.
shut, or was it a few days before? And we were just like, well, good thing we went that
Did you get a
day.
massive queue? Because we were driving past, like, I think it was like an hour before they shut, like, completely. And the drive-through, the queue was like right the way out the car park and down the road. And I'm like, everyone's just trying to get that last McDonald's.
Surprisingly, it wasn't that bad when me and my partner arrived, but when we left, there was definitely
Yeah.
a queue for the drive-through. I think as people started realizing, going, "Oh no, we better get this sorted
That's another
out."
thing that I'm finding difficult. I don't know if you're like me, but like with food, I'm very fussy, but you know what I mean? And I'm like trying to find like in the supermarket because everyone's panic buying. There's like not the usual food that you buy. And then obviously like
Yeah,
McDonald's, Nando's and all that are shut. And then you're trying to figure like what you're going to eat. And then I'm trying to like be like, okay, this is stupid. There is food, but it's just not the normal brand that I would usually get. But then that kind of
yeah.
freaks me out. So I don't know if you're kind of the same on that front with food.
I, I think I think it depends on the food.
Yeah.
Really, I'm quite selective. If since I'm not much of a cook,
Yeah.
I usually just make sandwiches, the same old sandwiches, cheese and ham sandwiches,
Yeah.
things like that, and unhealthy, really spicy bulldog noodles with
Oh,
mayonnaise. And I'm quite grateful for my partner because he's the
yeah.
cook and he usually makes the big meals and
Uh-huh.
dinners and that, and he tries to add healthy things. We've kind of took advantage of the frozen meals like
Yeah.
frozen veg, frozen chips, and that. Well, chips for him. I hate chips. But so we have something healthy at least once or twice a
Yeah.
day, and other things we usually just make ourselves. He makes himself his own
Mm.
sandwich, and vice versa. I have my own breakfast, like a
Yeah.
banana or something. So in that regard, we've found our ways, but then people are slowly catching on to things like
Mm.
tomatoes and things like that. And we're like, oh, I can't make
Yeah.
things. They're stealing
I
everything.
was doing because I had to do my mum and dad's shop as well because they can't leave at all. They can't even go to the shop or anything. They're on complete lockdown because of their health. So I was doing their shop, which was stressful enough. And then there was like no eggs, like in the shop, and I'm like, you can't really panic buy eggs because they don't really keep. But I was just like, why is everyone buying all the eggs? It was just the most bizarre thing. Like it just makes no sense to me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It annoys me when people just buy a lot of things and then it's like perishables, things that last like two to
Mm.
three
Like,
days.
yeah,
It's like
like fruit.
today. Oh, fruit, definitely. It's
I'm
like
like,
today, I was putting a bag in a bin, and what I
uh,
saw wasn't a black bin bag, it was a full baguette, and I'm just like, that's
mm,
such a waste.
waste. It's just not like why? I don't understand. Because that's the part that I'm really finding difficult to deal with. Like being in the house, I can occupy myself. Like some days are better than others, but the shops, just it's so stressful. because you're trying to avoid people, like, to keep away from people. And everyone was like running around with like their jackets over their mouths and stuff. And I'm like, I feel like the zombie apocalypse is coming or something. But I was just standing in Asda, and I was like, if I don't laugh, I'll freak out. So I was just like trying to look on the humorous side of things, but it doesn't always work.
No, in that environment, even though they try and make it organised, it's just too stressful for me. I'm very grateful with like local corner shops, because they're still open, well, different times depending on where you live and whatever, but they still have like the basic things like bread, toilet paper and that, and I don't need to go to Asda all the time or whatever other supermarket that is nearby. So I go there every few days for essentials and stuff. I usually do essential shopping, or it's also handy if you need things like if you have like the top up things for power or gas or whatever, or bills or whatever, bills that need topped up and things like that.
But it's just, I had a phone call from my boss yesterday, and I was like, he's like, how are you coping? Because obviously I'm not at work, but my work's still open. And I was like, I'm just finding it so stressful. It's not just the staying in the house, it's all the other little things. Like, you can't really go out, like, driving, because I'm teaching my husband to drive. So we can't just go out for a random drive together or anything like that. And it's just like, everything's changed. And it's just a bit, I'm still trying to get my head around it. And then seeing people just going out, like on Facebook and that, doing like parties in the beach and stuff, it really annoys me.
Totally.
Like, it shouldn't annoy me, but it really does.
Totally. It's like, what are you... This is why people are going, oh, the lockdown's going to be longer than anticipated, because these people throwing parties and not giving a crap. And for me, the thing that's changed the most is that I usually go on travel days a few times a week, just to get myself out there, and I like random bus journeys and that, gives me something to do, or I like to do blog work elsewhere.
Hello.
Oh, hello!
How are you guys doing?
Not bad. We're doing an interview, but you can join us.
It was funny because you created the group. Teresa did.
Yeah,
so
I was just like, well, let's see if we can add her. So I was like, it's quite fun.
We're currently doing an interview. It's my mini series. I've been doing a mini series this week, talking about COVID-19 and that. Just chill out and talk and see what every other autistic person advises others and what they've been doing and such.
Great.
And currently interviewing Teresa. So
Excellent.
Jamie, how have you been coping with the lockdown in general?
It's funny. I was just speaking to one of the professionals that I talked to, and I was telling him that actually, apart from obviously Auntie, I'm absolutely fine. I've just been keeping really busy, doing lots of things with my day that are needing done. Things that, the other thing is things that you've never had the time to do, but you know, you're wanting to do. Just get them done now. It's as good a time as any.
Because we were talking about that, me and Jamie, about like cleaning and organising all your things. Because now you've got a time to actually sit and go through it and take your time with it. I think now's a really good time to have a big kind of clear out and prepare and like refresh.
I think as well, things that you, for example, have never had the time to do in your life, like for instance courses or something like that. I mean, that's a really good time now to do it.
Because you've started that Open University course, haven't you?
I'm loving it, Teresa.
I still need to choose one, but I'm currently in a free trial of Skillshare. It's not the first time I've used it, but I thought I'd try it again, give myself something to learn, more video things, I guess. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good way of using time.
Because I finished a little online psychology course. I started it before Corona, but I was like, now I've not got an excuse to not sit and do it and finish it. So I managed to finish that.
I saw that. Well done.
Because I was doing it on sleepovers at work. I was like, right, a few hours and I'll do that. But now I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I can sit for a few hours and actually concentrate just on that without getting distracted.
You're a woman of many talents.
Because I think with the Corona thing, it affects everyone so differently. Like I was explaining this to a friend, because she was like, "Oh, it's not like we're at war or anything, like people."
Kind
And I
of
was like,
are.
"Well, I was like, I turned on the news. I never watch the news unless I'm at work
No,
because it
me
really just depresses me and freaks me out, especially at the moment." And my husband went to me, he's like, "Are you watching a documentary on a war?" And I'm like, "No, this is about Corona." And it was
Yeah.
like, the streets are empty. And I was like, and I'm like, it literally looks like something terrible's happened.
It's so
And
funny you should say that, Teresa, because it is kind of like a war against a virus. In a way, that's the
yeah,
enemy.
yeah,
Also, it's a matter of global importance, and world wars are. And the other thing that's interesting is what you said about news. I used to hate the news. I used to avoid it at all costs. It depressed me and everything. Now I'm following it every day and making sure I'm keeping up to date. So I think a lot of people are changing how they approach current affairs and world affairs and stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
I just kind of follow it on social media. I don't like
Same.
watching it on the TV.
I'm
Because
totally the same.
then I can just read what I want and can kind of just skip past. Because I think if I kind of watch it religiously, then I'm gonna end up getting really freaked out because it's always
Yeah.
about the death toll and all this, and I'm just like, no. I was like, I can't keep it constant, like watch it all the time, because it's finding that balance of knowing what's going on and kind of not freaking yourself out about it. So
absolutely,
because especially for people like us, like with autism, I don't know, like you kind of fixate on it a bit too much, and then you can't switch off, and I'm just trying to find that little balance in life of knowing what's going on but not getting too freaked out.
I think as well, it's an unknown quantity, and as autistic people, I assume you both agree on this, but I'm not entirely sure. Change is not good. Unknowns are not good. So both of these things are going on in tandem with COVID.
My support worker said to me, because I'm a support worker within my own support worker.
Like, that's good.
She said to me, she's like, it's kind of giving people maybe a bit more of an understanding of what we go through daily anyway, with that kind of stress and anxiety of not knowing what's going on. They're kind of getting a wee bit of glimpse of what we kind of deal with daily. Like, yeah.
It's funny.
I don't know if it's a positive or not, but yeah.
Well, I think somebody I heard had said that with their autism, they felt that they'd been rehearsing for this their entire life.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Totally.
If you think about it, like isolation and not going out as much as maybe other people do and things like that, we're really used to it. So most autistic people are like, now that we're in it, it's fine.
It's like I stay indoors a lot, and when I was a child I was quite sheltered and played video games all the time, so it's like, you need to stay inside. I can do that, no bother. Just the only disadvantage is cabin fever, but besides that, I can stay in a house for ages.
Because I said to my husband, I was like, we're fine at the moment, but is it 3 weeks in? Yeah, about 3 weeks. And I was like, when we reach the kind of, I think, 10-week mark, we're kind of reaching what hopefully will be the end. But then who knows how we're all going to be then, of being inside. And I was saying to my boss yesterday, I was like, going back to work after this, and I'm like, after being in for so long and not at work, I'm like, how am I going to cope with that? But my mum was saying the same. When we all go back, how are people actually going to be? And that's kind of my worry.
I think it'll be gradual. I do think it'll be gradual. I think that for the most part, people will be slowly rolled back out into society, and they'll see how it goes, I think.
Another thing, what would you two advise autistic people when it comes to this predicament of lockdown?
I think keep busy. Find creative ways of making sure that your day is varied. Also, things like, for example, maybe before lockdown, we'd have done maybe one big day out thing and nothing else in a day. Well, I'm finding lots of little but varied tasks to be quite helpful. What about you, Teresa?
Well, I've started, because I was starting to get a bit like, you know, anxious and stuff like that. I actually started doing yoga in the morning. I've never done yoga before. Never in my life. I am
I love
inflexible
yoga.
person in the world, and I have zero balance.
Fair dues.
I found this really good girl on YouTube. She does like little yoga like instructions classes. And I was like, right, if I do that, then I'm getting my breathing under control. I'm exercising and I'm stretching my body, because obviously you're sitting down a lot of the day. So I was like, right, I'll start doing that in the morning. And I've been enjoying it, and it's something new, but it's a bit of a challenge.
Absolutely.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So, skills.
Because see, when I watch yoga, like, I was like, oh, they make it look so easy. And then I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I haven't done it in a while, my body's just like boiling and sore the next day, and it's like, I'm just doing the bloody down dog.
It's funny, it's such an intense workout. I've got this little eye patch thing that I got at Luna Yoga. I did one session of Luna Yoga, but it wasn't for me in the end. But anyway, this is amazing. It's filled with different herbs like lavender and something else, and it has a really sleepy, relaxing effect. So once you've done the workout, and literally, as you guys said, dripping with sweat, you do this lie down thing at the end, and it's like,
try not to fall asleep. That's the best part when you do a really hard yoga workout. It's like, oh, it's cool down. You get to do the corpse pose, and it's like, yes! And I get to just chill out for like 5 minutes. It's great.
Because it's quite funny with the yoga thing, because everyone recommended yoga to me for years, like when I was when I was in therapy and stuff like that. And I was like, nah. And my old boss is now a yoga instructor. And she was like, oh, you should do it. And I'm like, no. And then like only a few days ago, I was like, I'm actually going to sit down and give this a go. And I was like, I actually quite like it. So I'm hoping to keep it up. Me with I start many things and never finish them.
Nah, I know that. I can be like that as well. It's like, do it for 2 months and then it just fizzles out.
Yeah. But I'm hoping to keep it up.
I think that's another thing that lockdown's going to teach us all, is how to actually stick with something, because that can be very difficult. And if you've got nothing else other than filling your day with new things or things that they've done, so forth, you're going to be possibly have more time on your hands to be more, I don't want to say committed, because it's not really commitment, it's more focused on doing the things that you want to do and need to do.
Another thing I've been doing is because I'm terrible at housework. Like, I will say I'm going to do it, and then I'll find anything and everything to distract myself. I follow this woman on Instagram called Mrs. Hinch, and she's got books.
Yes.
And she does the to-do lists, like, for the week of, like, the different rooms, and you can, like, write what you need to do and tick them off. And I find that if I'm ticking off a list, I feel like I'm actually accomplishing something in my week. And I can be like, well, look what I've done all this week. I've cleaned the bedroom, I've changed my sheets, and, you know, it actually reminds me of what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrible at housework. Like, I'm the worst housewife.
I only do specific ones, or I only do certain ones if people aren't in the house. Like, I can't hoover if people are in the house. If they're like maybe having a shower or if they're out and about, I'll do it then. But if someone's in the house, they're just in the way, and I'm just like, But usually, most of the time, I just do dishes or tidy up the kitchen a wee bit, or do bed sheets and washing, and it may not seem like much, but at least it's something.
Yeah, and you've done it at the end.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a full of accomplishment. It's all in the little accomplishments, I think. And that really helps mental health, because then you feel better that you've done things and ticked them off.
I'm currently like that at the moment. I mean, I'm going to have another another task ticked off soon. hopefully my podcast in this time of recording, which is the 10th of April, should be done tonight, should be published tonight, so that'll make me feel a bit better, because what I'm doing with structure with my blog stuff, I do things in the weekday, and the weekend, forget everything, just chill, play video games and whatever. My partner's got Final Fantasy 7, I really should start playing that.
I've been playing Animal Crossing. So
everyone has.
I actually went out and bought the last Switch in Asda so that me and my husband could play Animal Crossing together.
Oh, to be fair, the Switch is the Switch is a console that you have to buy two of, because me and my partner tried to share one. It's like, this isn't working. We're getting another one. Neither of us have Animal Crossing, but I usually play either Pokemon or Paladins.
Pokemon,
But on PC, I usually play Overwatch. Used to be on the Xbox, but I got gifted Overwatch for Christmas for PC. Although my computer's a potato, so the graphics are complete garbage and it crashes every half hour.
I love that. I saw something absolutely enraging on Facebook today. I don't know if it's fake news or not, but it said BBC breaking news. And it was this, let me get this right, this doctor's surgery somewhere had told their autistic group that they all need to set up do not resuscitates for themselves.
Oh, right,
I've actually got chills when you said that.
I've been reading that lately, and that genuinely upsets me.
Of course it does.
They're treating autistic people as disposable. It's like, if they're not well, they'll just let's just sacrifice them. They're doing the same for disabled people as well, and minorities.
It's similar to what they've been doing with people with Down syndrome for years.
Exactly.
The scans that you get during pregnancy. And they're like, oh, do you want to abort? Because the child might have Down syndrome, and I'm like, why? Like,
it's
horrible.
It's like a form of genocide. It's this.
It is. That's exactly what it is. It's culling.
I know hospitals are full and they need to treat people with COVID-19. I understand, but treating those who've always had support, push them aside in order to die, is just wrong. And the do not resuscitate thing with autistics, but they automatically do not resuscitate. That's not fair.
To my mind, it's disregarding autism. It's trying to, it's the age-old thing of trying to omit people who are not conventional. And I find that wrong. I find it disgusting.
I've got another question to ask about like corona and hospitals, kind of on what you were saying, Rebecca, about like actually getting to see a GP right now. Like with corona is impossible.
Totally.
And then it does worry me about people's mental health, that you can't then see a doctor, because I was dealing with my asthma quite badly at the start of lockdown. I couldn't see a GP, I couldn't see my asthma nurse, I couldn't go into hospital. I wasn't even allowed to go in the chemist because I had breathing problems and they automatically thought that was corona. So I don't know if anyone else has experienced that with GPs at the moment. It's not their fault, but you know what I mean.
I've recently had letters about asthma appointments, which I was expecting, and they recommend me to call the doctors and talk to them on the phone, and I think that's the only option they can do.
But you can't actually physically see anyone.
No.
Because I was the same. I was having to be on the phone and like do my peak flow. And they're like, well, we can't send you here and we can't see you. And I'm like, what are you meant to do? Then I was saying with the whole work thing, you can't get a letter. You can't prove to your employer. Like, I've just been told over the phone. And then my anxiety's up, but then you can't see anyone.
It's a horrible time. And the thing about the doctors, I had to have an appointment over the phone the other day, not for asthma, but for a skin condition I've got. And what they did is they got my prescription to the chemist, and then we had to get somebody to pick it up on our behalf. Also, they're not delivering prescriptions to where we are, and they're prioritising people over 70. The over 70 bit I kind of get. But it's a shambles.
Well, we had that. I was prescribed steroids, and my husband had to go pick them up, and they're like, this was on the Tuesday, and they're like, well, can you wait till the Friday to pick it up? And my husband's like, no, look at the prescription and what it's for. It's urgent.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. But we had to wait a few hours to get the prescription, which is understandable. Like, if there's so much going on right now. But I'm like, you should still be able to see or phone call and then them say, okay, this is important, come in.
Yes.
You know, I do worry about people with anxiety, depression, especially as this carries on.
Totally.
Yes.
You might have to see a doctor. And how are you going to prescribe antidepressants and stuff without seeing someone?
Very
You know.
difficult.
But yeah, on that bombshell, thank you very much, you two, for participating in this video series.
It's been a bit random, but
Hey, I do want it to be a bit impromptu, so
hopefully we've made some good points.
yeah, it'll be fun to edit, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you very much.